excited to have, for the first time, your new head coach of the Sacramento Republic, Neill Collins. Thanks for being here. I'm so excited. I've been excited since we booked this a couple weeks ago to talk to you.
No, thanks. Obviously great to be here and nice to get the chance to talk to you.
Yeah, I know you're busy time. You haven't been here that long. It's training camp. You got games coming up, all that good stuff. But I want to flash back and talk through the process of getting hired and going through the interview process with Todd. You know, what were some of the reasons? You were obviously coaching in Scotland previously. What was some of the reasons you wanted to come coach here in Sacramento?
Yeah, listen, I think the biggest compliment I can pay Todd and the club is that I was really happy at Rafe Rovers in Scotland. Like, really good people that I was working for, and really good group of players, and I felt that there was a lot to be achieved there. But from speaking to Todd and knowing a little bit about Sacramento, obviously having been in the USL, but then just hearing the plans for the future, I just felt, as I say, it was a great opportunity. I knew it would be a highly sought after job. A lot of coaches out there that would love to be in this role, and I was lucky enough that the ownership and Todd, put their faith in me. So yeah, it was a tough decision in some ways because again, I was enjoying the job, but just the whole package, kind of short, medium, and long term, just made me think it was too good an opportunity to turn down.
What, for the family aspect obviously is important. You have a pretty large family. You have 5 kids?
Four kids and
Four
a dog.
All 2 of them are already taller than me, which we don't have to talk about that. But I'm sure, coming back to the U.S., a transition for you all. But what has it been like? You had to make this decision, make the move pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's always tough because that's the thing that a lot of fans don't see. They forget that we're all the same. We've all got families, and that always comes first. And I just felt for my family, for my young family, this was the right decision as well. They really enjoyed their 7 years in the States in Florida, and I think they've missed it to a certain extent because that's really all they've known. So the great weather, the positivity, I felt that the people, they enjoyed being part of a club, and I felt that coming to the Republic could kind of give us all that from a family perspective. And even already it's been great. They felt part of it, and a lot of clubs talk about this family, being a family. I think the biggest thing I've seen here is people that have been here since the start, and they're still here, and keeping staff like that says a lot. So me and my family are delighted to be part of that.
Well, Luke and Katie, obviously 2 of those people who've been here from the beginning. So, and there's, I remember one of the first meetings you came to here in the office was a couple people who were leaving to go work at FIFA, and one of them, Ben Cam, who loves this club, loves it, and he broke down in tears talking about. And I remember thinking and telling Todd right after, I was like, what a great way. Like, that was one of the first times you'd come into the office. Yeah. I was like, man, that's got to be a great way to realize how important this club is to people, even for somebody who's as excited for his future but moving to the next step. But I'm just curious as to, you've coached at a lot of different places. Now you haven't been a coach super long, and I'm excited to talk about that. But what has it been so far in this first month or so that you've kind of seen that has kind of separated this club from other clubs you've been to?
Yeah, no, I think listen, what you said there about Ben, him leaving, and you could see the pride he had in being here and the pleasure. And I think one thing I found, whether I've played at a club or coached at a club, is so many clubs have people that are so proud to be part of it, right? I think at Tampa, it was very similar. A lot of great people there for a long time, shared so many great memories. I think that's the great thing about being part of sport. What separates Sacramento, I still think it's too early to say, but I think it certainly tells a lot that there's so many people I say that have been here. You mentioned Katie and Luke. Dave Redmond's been part of the academy and now in the first team. There's so many people that seem to have been here for such a long period of time. Even on the playing side, we've got players that have been here for a long time. Good players get opportunities, but when they decide to stick somewhere, that says a lot. So I think it's about a lot about the people. Definitely that.
I want to ask about your family too, and being here in Sacramento. How much have they enjoyed it so far? I'm sure a little that we talked about this when we saw each other, but the weather, I'm sure, is one aspect of it. Are they enjoying California weather? And I mean, it hasn't gotten hot yet, so but it's February. Are they enjoying it so far?
No, they're loving it. Listen, they're really happy. We've just found a house, moved into a house like a few days ago. My wife does want to get the kids into school as quick as possible. That's been something that she's ready for, but they'll do that in the next week. Listen, they're loving it. We took a walk on Sunday down. It was Folsom River, beautiful day. There's so much great things to do within Sacramento, close to Sacramento. So great experiences to be had. So from that perspective, like we couldn't be happier.
I want to ask about the story of you becoming a coach from a player. I heard rumblings, did some research, but I wanted you kind of to tell the story, if you don't mind, of how you first became a coach.
Yeah. So I was playing for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. I played 2016, 2017. I was playing 2018. I was playing every week. But we weren't maybe having the success we'd have all have liked. And after a particularly disappointing Open Cup exit to Jacksonville, who were at the time playing, I think, in the NPSL, I got a phone call to say that the chairman would like to meet me. Bill Edwards would like to meet me the following morning. I assumed that he was maybe going to ask to take temporary charge or something maybe along those lines. I mean, we knew that we'd been on a really bad run. And then that meeting, he said he was going to make a change from coach, and I'd been highly recommended from Joe Cole, who was part of the team at the time, Lee Cohen, I think the president as well, because I'd been doing a lot of coaching away from Tampa, and for me it was just too good an opportunity to turn down. While I was playing and I was healthy and I was enjoying it, I just felt I could help the team a lot more as a coach than I could at that point as a player, and I look back and it was a bit of a whirlwind.
I'm sure.
But one of the best decisions I ever made.
Did you have any sort of inclination that was going to happen in that meeting?
No. I think by the point, Lee Cohen had prepped me a little bit, but again, I still wasn't sure as to what the basis would be. Would it be a short interim period to see how I'd done? Again, I was 34 years old. I hadn't coached at the professional level, but I talked about the faith that Todd and the owners have shown in me. Obviously, there's a little bit more evidence to go on now, but at the time, they just obviously seen something that they felt I could help, and it made me. I just always felt that I had to kind of repay that faith, and it's never easy because there's ups and downs, and it was a tough end to the 2018 season. But I got so much support from Lee Cohen, who was the kind of president at the time, and then we went from strength to strength. So. Yeah, I look back and I should say that the players, really tough for them. Mm-hmm. Guys that I had room with, and then leaving out the team, which is never nice, but something I always just tried to think about. How did I want to be treated as a player, and tried to treat them like that, and their attitude towards it was incredible. They could have made it really difficult, and they made it really easy. So yeah, good memories.
And then when you're about to get hired in Sacramento, I know Todd sent you up or had a Zoom with Kevin Neill. Yeah. And I'm sure there were some League One conversations. I'm sure there was with him owning Huddersfield and you coaching in that league previously. But what was it like meeting Kevin Nagel and kind of going through that process?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was another part that made this job even more desirable. I think we had a little bit in common, like you mentioned. We've worked now with a lot of the same people. We kind of know the level that Huddersfield are at, so we're able to share kind of stories around that. So I think that helps. But again, just talk about what makes this club special. He's passionate. He's passionate about Sacramento. He seemed like a real straightforward guy, and I felt like someone that I could work for. So I felt coming off that call excited about the possibility.
He's great. I'm sure there was a lot of legal and talk as well.
Definitely.
I'm sure. I want to ask you about you as a coach. Like, what would you mentioned that you try to treat players the way that you would want to be treated as a former professional athlete, but like, when you think of yourself as an archetype of a coach, if you will, what would you say? How are you a player coach? I mean, everybody says they're a player coach, so don't take that answer. But like, what would you say is what type of coach would you consider yourself to be?
I think there's, like you said, there's lots of ways you could put it. Like, you've got to wear a lot of different hats. You've got to be a lot of different things at a lot of different times. I think I'm going to put a lot of high demands on everyone, because I feel that I look at the influences in my life, and I think my dad's a great example of, he demanded a lot, in terms of, I think he knew he was capable of a lot, but at times we need pushed. So I think it's my job to push these players to get the best out of them. So high demands, no question. But then on top of that, like, real high support. Again, I go back to my dad. He pushed me a lot, but he supported me an awful lot as well. I don't think you can just have one or the other. And that's what I want to be for the players. I want to make them better. Can't guarantee playing time to everyone, but I can guarantee that I'm going to work to make them better. And also with that, at times it means like the arm around the shoulder, support, encouragement, doing it in different ways. And then other times you just need to give them a kick up the backside. So I think trying to get that balance and show both sides, that's what I try to do.
From what you've made a couple of references to your father there, it sounds like he was a really big influence on you back in Scotland. I'm assuming what were the things that he would do to push you when you were younger?
I think, again, as a player, we're all guilty at times as players of thinking we did okay. Yeah. I did all right, and then having someone to say, I think you can do more. Seeing the potential. And I think I look back, and at times, did I like it? No. But it was the right thing, because I felt I was able to go and achieve things because of that, from my mum and my dad. But there was days as well where I knew I'd been terrible and been really poor and struggled, and that was the time where he would show the belief, in me. And I think, I think, again, that's part of a coach. Sometimes when they expect you to be angry or disappointed in you can show them that support. So that's just as important. So, yeah, very fortunate to have that. And I just look back and think I maybe wouldn't have had the playing career that I had if it wasn't for those moments. You just don't know. But I definitely felt that had a big impact.
Yeah, that's awesome. In terms of, you've been here guess what? It's been about a month and a half now?
Yeah.
Month and a half. Training camp, obviously, you're getting to know the newer guys. I know there's a couple new guys still coming. There's a lot of things happening for you. You're figuring out where to live in Sacramento area. There's a lot of stuff happening. How are you able to, when you get to the training yard, focus on the team and block out kind of all that other stuff? That's got to be there's just so much happening. But from everybody, like, I was talking to Luke about it. He said, like, he's so cool, calm, and collected. That's how he described you. And I thought that was very interesting, of like, yeah, you got a million things going on, but you're pretty low. You're not low key. I wouldn't say that, but it's like, dust off your shoulders. Like, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't seem to affect you.
I think I've got a good wife, so she takes a lot off my plate that allows me to focus on the football. So she takes care of a lot of the things off the pitch, so I'm lucky with that. There's been great people at the club. That's been really impressive. From Todd through the whole staff, they've made it easier. They've supported me. Andre Zayas, who's on the operational side, he's been supportive. And then I've got a good coaching staff. I've been able to bring Eric Wildy with me, so I know Eric, and I worked with him at Tampa. So there's another person that I can trust. But like Bradley, Martin, who I've inherited, like, they're really good at what they do. So you mentioned, Luke, like, I have trust in these guys that they can help. So the big thing I think people forget is, like, any success I've experienced in my career has been down to a lot of people. And we all get to share it, So at Tampa, when we won trophies, it wasn't just down to me, it wasn't just down to the players, it was down to a whole collective. And it's going to be the same here. We're going to need everyone to chip in, and so that's what's helped a lot. But I am looking forward to settling into the routine and getting all our players here. We've got guys that we'll probably announce in the coming days. Yeah. Get them into training camp. Get guys, a couple of small things like first couple of weeks, get them guys back training. So there is lots, but I feel that I'm lucky that I've got 7 years experience now, and hopefully that shows a little bit at times.
Yeah. You got a lot of returning guys, some new guys as well. The culture is always the question that I like to ask about this time of year in terms of how do you build that culture? How do you change the culture? How do you, all those types of things. What have you seen from the culture from the players' side so far since you've been here?
Yeah, again, I've mentioned this a couple of times, but I'm taking over from a really good coach in Mark, who's done a lot of great things here, and he's left me a good squad and a good group of guys, and I've seen that. I think the mistake sometimes to come in and trying to implement yourself as opposed to saying, well, let's see. So I've seen straight away that the players have got a great attitude to training, a great work ethic. So from an environment standpoint, I just have to nurture that and to keep making sure that we develop that. And then there's other things that over time I want to change. But that's change is always happening, because if you're not changing and you're not trying to improve. So whether it's me, the previous coach, or anyone else, another coach would always be trying to improve. So we'll look to do that. I mean, things like, there's loads of things, Connor. I think the mistake we all make again is it's not me coming in the first day and doing a meeting about something and then that's it. Culture sorted. It's day by day by day by day. The trip that we just went on is a great example. We worked hard. We had games. We did things as a team away from football. We did a bit of fun in terms of have a laugh at each other's expense. All these things hopefully build an environment that covers a lot of areas.
Yeah. What have you seen so far on the field from the players, though? What have you been impressed by? What are the things you're wanting to improve on here early on?
Yeah, again, I've been impressed by just the simple attitude, intensity, the desire, all the basics that you need to have at any league, but USL. That's been clear. We've got a core group of guys that have been here. Danny, Vitiello, Russell Cicerone, Lee Desmond, Luis Felipe. These guys' attitude to want to get better, to train hard, to set a good intensity. That's been great. You can see from our signings that we've signed. I think everyone that we've signed and guys that will be announced, all under the age of 26. Because we need to think about adding that hungry type of player, the guy that has got their whole career ahead of them, that wants to improve, has got lots to still achieve. I think along with the guys that we've already got, I think that will be a good mix, and try and get that energy and desire into the team, along with the quality that we've definitely got.
How fast after you were hired were you and Todd talking about players?
Oh yeah, immediately. Immediately, I think someone like Ryan Spalding was a great example of someone that I knew that could be available, knew that he would be highly sought after. So yeah, it was great. It was great. There's some that had it been earlier we might have been able to get, but I think I'm really pleased with being able to sign Ryan. I mean, we're bringing LG in from St Mirren that I worked with at Rave Rovers. So straight away it's great, because I think I know the USL well, and I've got ideas on players within that system, but also having been in the UK, opened my eyes up to a different market, that I think translates very well. So hopefully over time we can build on that.
Have you already talked to Nagel about, hey, do we get any other Huddersfield loans? Like what's going on there?
I mean, the great thing is, so Michael Duff, the head coach at Huddersfield, I replaced him at Barnsley. I know him. I know Martin Patterson, the assistant. He was my assistant at Tampa.
Holy cow.
The Huddersfield loans manager, I've already been in touch with him prior to taking this job. So, yeah, it's an area that we're very fortunate. Wow. Kieran Phillips did fantastic last year.
Yep.
We're lucky that I've got a lot of good contacts, even out with Huddersfield. At Tampa Bay, we took a player from Norwich. We had John Doherty come from Sheffield United. Again, I think it's a market that we can utilise, and one that we'll continue to monitor.
Yeah. No, it's definitely interesting, especially with all those connects. I didn't realize how many true connects you did have, not just on the connection with Kevin Nagel. So that's very cool. All right, so you come from coaching in Scotland previously. How much different is the style of football coming from Scotland to the U.S.? I mean, obviously you were in the U.S. before you played in the U.S., so you know the system. But just break it down for us, like how different is the style?
The big thing people I think forget a lot is the climate. The climate for me changes the style. Even our pre-season game against Orange County there last week, even though I know we're not in the height of the summer, but there was a heat that means at times teams need to put their foot on the ball. It can settle down a little bit. Compare that to Scotland, where the weather is much more conducive to be running around for 90 minutes.
Yep.
So it's 100 mile an hour. A lot of duels, a lot of tackles, a lot of challenges. I think generally there as well, the fans want action. They want the ball forward. So I would say that the level that I came from, though, there's a lot of similarities in terms of the player. A lot of players, great attitude, real good desire to compete. So I think the levels in terms of the players are very similar. That's one of the reasons LJ, thought he would fit in well, because he brings that desire to press and run and close down. So I think there's a good crossover between that level. But again, playing in the heat of Sacramento in June, I think takes a certain tempo out of the game at times compared to the cold December.
Interesting. I have not thought of that. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense. I want to ask some more fun questions here, and I might jump back to other stuff, but okay. I want to ask about the Legacy fan event, which was kind of your first chance to meet some fans. Big ovation. We had a great Q&A. It was a lot of fun.
Yep.
But what was your expectation going into that event, and was it exceeded? What did you think of the fans? I mean, that's probably there are some supporters section folks, Tower Bridge Battalion folks that weren't there, but for the most part, those were the diehards in that building.
Yeah, well, we talked about the staff and how some of the staff and how they feel about the club, and again, I think you can just see that we've got that core fan base that this is their life, and they just want to support the club, and long after we're gone, they're still going to support the club. So they're the kind of constant that have been here right from the start. The amount of people that I met on the night that have been here from the start, what this club means a lot to them. So I think it's just good, because it's good to have that first chance to meet the diehards, as you say, that I'm going to see a lot of and interact with a lot. So I thought it was a great event. I think from the club's perspective, fans' perspective, just a real good night.
Yeah. I want to ask some of the new stadium conversations too, because I was asking Todd. I think he said pretty soon after you were hired, you were right in and part of some of the soccer operations new stadium conversation. How much fun has that been to be a part of and kind of work through some of those details?
Yeah, it's been really impressive. When you talk about the long term coming here, that was exciting, but then being in those talks, I mean, I think for anyone out there, it's going to be some stadium. Equally, we're trying to learn some lessons from places that I've coached, places that we've played. What do we like? What do we not like? And I think we're going to hugely benefit from a top draw stadium. So to just even see how they make some of the decisions has been great, and the fact that they've asked for some input, it's been brilliant. It's
been impressive. I've been on some of the calls, not with you, but with the same people, on how detailed and it's been very impressive. Those people know what they're doing. It's unbelievable.
It is, and let's be honest, once it's built, it's built. So you want to get it right, right? I think the great thing is it'll be ours.
Yeah,
it'll be our stadium. It'll be something for everyone to be proud of and to be part of. So we want to do everything to get it right, and I think the important thing is that we know that's coming. It's great to be excited from, but not to let it take away from the here and the now.
Yep. What you've played against a couple of the current players we had. You mentioned on that night of the Legacy night that you scored against Luis Felipe.
Yep.
Have you shown him the tape and let him know, reminded him about it?
No, that's a good reminder though. I will produce that. I'll produce it at the right point in the season where Luis just needs to be, reminded. But no, that's good. Yeah, looking forward to it.
It was a winner too, right?
That was a winner, 1-0, yeah. It's probably in black and white. It was that long ago.
And then the one that I want to ask about is when you got signed, I Adam Moffat on a text thread with him and Rob. You obviously already talked to those guys at training, but he was like, I got into a scuffle with that guy not that long ago, a little while ago. But do you remember that scuffle a little bit?
I scuffled with that many people when I played, but I did remember Adam because I remember him being a good player for the Cosmos, and I remember two Scotsmen, getting a bit. Probably the heat got to us both at the time. But I met Adam. It's great. So looking forward to working with him, and it's always nice to have someone doing the broadcast that played at the level did, and he knows that that he's going to give the fans good explanation of what's happening.
Adam's fantastic. He's gotten so good. But yeah, it's that was a funny little tidbit he shared with us. I want to ask too about some of the academy players before we go. Is you got Chibi, Blake, David? First off, is Chibi taller than you now?
No.
Okay.
Way.
No. Okay. Todd said the same thing, and he was definitely wrong. Chibi was here a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, he's grown 2 inches since I've seen him. What have you seen from that group of guys that have impressed you so far?
Yeah, I mean, all three have got so much potential. Mm-hmm. The fact that they're part of our first team group, but they are part of the first team group, they're first team players, says it all really. Chibi's been playing international at a great level, which shows how highly thought of he is. So I just want to help them all. I want to help them all, like I said earlier, get better. And the important thing is I want to try and not just make them great USL players. I want to make them as good as they can be. Mm-hmm. And hopefully that's way beyond the USL. And that's not only my challenge, but it's their challenge. So really, really impressive.
Last thing I want to ask you about being in Sacramento so far. What have you been able to? Have you had time to go out? Have you been out to dinner? Got to experience some of the city? What has that been like so far?
Yeah, I've not had the chance to do loads yet. I'm looking forward to going to King's game. We're all excited about that. My boys are looking forward to. They've not been to a basketball game yet, so that'll be great. I've heard great things. We did go to a drive-in movie, not far from here. That was good. So, listen, I think as you said, we've got a lot going on. I've got a big focus on the team right now.
Sure, that's probably the right answer.
Get these kids in school, and then I'm looking forward to I've heard there's great places to eat, great things to do, and I think over the next years I'm looking forward to getting involved in that.
What has your relationships been like with player to player? Have you been meeting with pretty much each guy one-on-one? How do you go about that?
Yeah, I think again it goes back to this thing about you don't just have one meeting with the team and then everything's set, and it's the same with the guys. I speak to them all in some way, shape or form, probably every day or every couple of days. Sometimes more formal, sometimes more informal. Yeah. And just get to know them. And I think even now, we're in our 4th week. I think this is our 4th week of pre-season. I've not let anyone down yet. I've not had to drop anyone. I've not had to tell someone they're not travelling. These conversations will come, but hopefully over time the players will see that I've got to do what's best for this club. Yeah. But I also want to try and do what's best for them. Just underneath that, and over time we'll see that I'll be consistent with that. Yeah. But it's been great. As I say, the time in San Diego was really good, getting to spend time with the players, not just at football, and we've got other things planned. It's not just that trip and then we just focus on football. We've got a long season ahead, and I'm looking forward to just building those relationships. The staff workouts that you guys are doing, were you aware of those when you agreed to the job, or is that a positive for you? I know some you could see how you come in hang on a second, Todd, that's a big Todd thing. Todd could have told me about that before I signed, really. He did? If he had, it might have changed things. This morning, nearly killed me, but one of the things I learned, going back home is this job's all consuming. and sometimes you forget about looking after yourself. And there's nothing better than getting in the morning, work out with the staff. It certainly pushes you on, push each other on, and it definitely makes me better. So I don't like it at the time. You've got now that I've kind of recovered. That's good. It's good fun.
Well, and everybody's competitive too. Like there's some really, really athletic. I mean, Todd's a great runner. Yeah. Luke's a monster, and Dave's a monster in the weight room. Katie can run. Like everybody's got their own thing. So I know you guys are all. It's all a competitive thing too. Where everybody pushes each other.
Wait till we get the staff pickleball tournament, then we'll see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Is that your game?
Yeah, one of many games, but I'll back myself in that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to ask. I'll have to be a follow-up here in a couple months. All right. Well, we got two other things we'll do before we go. We're at the 30-minute mark. We gave fans the opportunity to chime in and ask a question.
Good.
We got a couple good ones in here. These are from some fellow Scots. By the way, I have not seen these either. The producers made sure I did not see these.
Nice.
So if I mess this up,
go for it.
This is on me. Okay, well, so Celtic or Rangers?
Kilmarnock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Might get this wrong. Haggis or black pudding?
Black pudding.
Okay. What are those?
I'll probably get it wrong, but like I think haggis is like the sheep's intestine.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what black pudding is, but it's not good for you. But it does taste good.
Okay. All right.
Pig's blood, maybe? Pig's blood, I think. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong.
Wow, okay. I don't even know how to say this one. There's 3 O's. Or Willie? Or Willie?
Ur Willie.
Ur Willie.
Ur Willie's
or the Bruins.
No, Ur Willie.
Okay.
It's just a cartoon character, Scottish one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did Adam Moffat send these in?
It's good, I like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you met Chaplain Briggs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a guy.
What a guy.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. You were joking about how people are going to need closed captioning to read it. That guy, man, he talks fast.
And he's been here for 20 years.
I know. But he keeps it though. I love
like
it. All right, last one. Mince pie with beans or HP sauce?
HP sauce.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
That's definitely for the Scottish.
Yeah, these are all good Scottish questions. Okay, the last thing that we do. Yeah, we didn't tell you this, so we probably should have prepared you. We have every guest who can come and bring a question for me. I've been throwing questions at you for 30-something minutes. What questions do you have for me?
You could have given me a heads up on that.
I know I should have. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I'll say, what's your advice for me?
Oh man. But my advice, first off, my advice is worth nothing. Just to be clear, it is worth absolutely nothing. My advice, I would say, is the city of Sacramento loves the city of Sacramento. Yeah. And as you can imagine when you go other places, but this place is different in terms of people really care about the city. They care about their club. So just, I think, knowing that, which I think you already do because you already said that, I think that's the only advice I would give you. If you're asking me about stuff on the field, I'm the wrong person to ask. No. So please do not.
No, if I'm doing that, I'm in trouble.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. All right. So we're about a couple weeks away from opening night, though, and then I'm assuming you got, what is it, a little over 3 weeks or less than 3 weeks. How fired up are you for that first game? You get to be at home. Like, it's got to be so exciting for you.
Yeah. Listen, the one thing I've not seen or been part of is like, a home game.
Yeah.
A home game, being part of Sacramento Republic.
Because you haven't played against Republic yet.
No,
at here.
I haven't played, haven't coached, so that's going to be brilliant because everyone I speak to, that's a big part of who the club are. Big crowds, great atmosphere, and we're going to do everything we can to be ready for that game and start the season as well as we possibly can. But over the season, I'm looking forward to many, many great nights there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Coach. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Cheers.